That folks, welcome back to Delboy's Garage. Right now, this here is side mount. It's all lovely and dry now. The paint's dried, just lovely. It's nice and feels like plastic, feels like sort of powder coat. So real happy with that. It's about 10 coats of satin black on that. So that's floated out lovely, nice and smooth. And I think that was, that once upon a time, that was just a cardboard template, and that's what you can achieve. Right, so on the front, I've just got to stick the plate now. I've got the plate from a guy who runs a place called Jap Plates. I'll put a little linky here for you. And he's excellent. You just ring him up, tell him what you want, how you want it configured, and he will configure it any way you like. So they're really display plates for show use. And you get the usual kind of sticky front on it to protect it. And I'm going to stick it on because really I don't want to be drilling holes in this, and it's too small and light. It doesn't need screws to hold it on, plus screw heads just look daft on the front. So I'm going to I've been to my favourite surplus store. I got 3 packs of these for 99p each. They're the sticky back foam pads, the proper number plate ones. They're like a black rubber rather than foam. Don't be fooled by the white sticky ones you get, because that white stuff is just foam and it's really for sticking posters on the wall. This stuff is brilliant. It's for automotive use, it's fuel proof and all sorts. So not that you tip fuel over your number plate, but it basically is from automotive use. And I got I got a dozen of these for £2.98. Brilliant. Go in a certain well-known motor store, I think for 4 of those you pay £2. Ugh, no brainer. Right, so I'm going to get these stuck on here. Get this then stuck on there, nice and lined up, bit of a two-hand job. And then it's time to get outside and mount it on the bike. The moment of truth. Dun, dun, dun. Right, time to do some stickies. Alright, these are uber sticky. I mean seriously sticky. They are, I don't know what it is, there's some sort of glue on them that's amazing. If you stick them in the wrong place, forget it, that's where they stay. And now I just want to get this lined up exactly in the right place, because when they hit that surface, you get one chance to get it straight. And they don't like coming off. So let's just get these on. Get them all peeled, ready to stick. Okay, there it is. Now, one chance to get this straight. Concentration. God, scary. Can only line it up at the bottom, I guess. Remember, OCD, it has to be straight. And it is. Here we are. And that is stuck forever. That's it. Okay, let's go put it on the bike. Okay, time to pop it on. Straight on there. Big wheeled up. Torque setting on these is something mental, like 100+ foot-pound. And I kind of disagree with it. I just don't think you need it that tight. It never comes undone. You've got safety washers on it, and I honestly think that crushes the wheel bearings. When you feel a torque wrench up to 100 foot-pounds, you can just tell it's horrible. It's way too tight. You feel the thread screaming. I normally do it with this big old spanner, just nice and wrist tight, and keep an eye on it. Never had a wheel nut come off, never had one come loose. I don't think you should worry too much about torque settings. That's more than tight enough for that. Okay, now pop the shock in. That's it. And this is a lock nut, castellated lock nut, so you don't need Loctite on it. but you do need to do it up pretty tight. Torque setting on this is 55 foot-pound. Again, you just get the feel for it. That's it. Spin that round. A little burr on that will file off later on. It's a very thin nut, and getting a full purchase on it is quite hard with two hands. That's good enough. That ain't going anywhere. All bolts and nuts that you undo and take off your bike, I always suggest take a good look at them a few days later on and just make sure they're still there and they're still tight, and if necessary get a spanner across them. Don't forget your lock washer, very, very important. Goes in a recess on the axle, just taps in place, snaps on. That's it. And now take off this big ugly thing here, which is bolted on cockeyed anyway. It's going to leave me some holes to deal with, but I shall weld those up when the bodywork gets painted. They didn't even want to come off. Right, eventually it came off. It's one of these kind of aftermarket jobbies. I think they're about £50 or so. That was bolted on there. You get like a rubber gasket and you draw around. But as you can see from the holes, they're just vicious. Look at that. I think they're too small, and they've just been, the bolts have just been kind of self-tapered through them to literally wring them out. They've buckled the steel, they've rusted. That's just hideous. However, it's not it's not unfixable. You can file those flat quite easy, dress that down with a little toffee hammer, and you can just weld those holes up. A little bit of aluminium sheet on the back, just puddle weld them up, that's not a problem. There is one thing I've noticed though, when you look underneath, up under here, there's this kind of quarter inch steel brace plate, and that's kind of there. You just see it. This hole just encroaches on it, and the nut was actually bolted up on top of the plate. You know, it wasn't even seated. So I'm just considering when I eventually paint this, which no, I'm not still decided. For all you keep asking, I just can't decide. You know, sort of cream and then a metal flake and something, maybe gloss black, I don't know. But anyway, when eventually I get there, I'm just thinking what I may do is follow this profile and just bring this up across there and just have that one hole to deal with. Just weld that in using that thick steel brace underneath as a guide. Just trim off the edge there and effectively bring the whole thing sort of that much further up, sort of bob the back end a little bit more. But that's for another day. What I'm going to do with them is put some black tape. I know it sounds really bodge, but they're sharp, and I just know they're going to catch my skin and rip it open, or they're going to catch my levers and rip them open, or something, because that is really viciously sharp. So I don't want to file out too much because that will rust them out. I'm just going to put some sort of gaffer tape over them, some black tape, just to prevent any damage being done by those burrs. So right, going to get her out in the front of the drive and show you what this looks like. And there we are. There it is, in situ. Kind of taken off that rear number plate bracket, has returned the bobbed curved look that I wanted, so that's cool. There's the old thing, all looking good. Yeah, the paint's come out well. 10 layers of satin black have given it that sort of plastic coated look, which is what I wanted, all powder coated, stoved, whatever. There's going to be a number plate light fitted. I will be fitting one. It is a legal requirement. I'm going to a show this weekend where you can get these. There'll be a stall there. You do these little tiny LEDs that stick on, so they'll go just up underneath the cap here, drill a little tiny wire through, which will just be literally black taped so it's invisible across the back, or possibly even underneath this rib, and run it in, down, and then out of sight up the back here into the loom, or possibly even run it under there. I don't know. We'll sort something out. It'll be invisible. Nobody will see it unless it's on. So that's it. There it is, one side mount. I got that central position, so when you're sort of, it's right underneath that light, which is what I wanted. And when you see it from behind, the whole thing kind of looks symmetry. You get the pipes on one side. Harleys are a little bit lopsided with their pipes always being prominent. But there it is, all fitted, looking good. Pipe wrap's doing okay. A little tiny frayage has just developed there, so I'm keeping an eye on that. I still haven't painted them because I'm not sure whether I want to paint them or whether I want to leave them naked, and you can't unpaint them once they're done, so they may yet get done. But there it is, one side mount from a cardboard template on a cereal packet, 5-6 episodes. Nice finished article. Okay, so that's it. That's all for now. Thanks for tuning in and watching Delboy's Garage. See you next time, folks.